Hi, Don and Bev. How are you?
Hi, Nancy.
Hi, Nancy.
It's great to see you this morning.
Yes.
It's great to see you as well. And thank you for joining us on the Vegan Podcast. I appreciate it, the Vegan Pulse.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Yes.
So first of all, let's start by you letting our viewers know, where are you coming to us from?
Coming from Sedona, Arizona, where we have established a nonprofit. It's called Healthy World Sedona. And by extension, after COVID, we changed to the Healthy World Vitality Plan in terms of our major focus.
Okay. Then next, if you don't mind sharing individually your stories of how you came to veganism, and we'll start with you, Don.
Yes. Well, this was, over 30 years ago. I ran into a book by Dr. John McDougall called The McDougall Plan. And I had just been out with some friends a few weeks prior to that with a big chunk of deep dish pizza. And I was looking at that piece as I was putting it towards my mouth, and the cheese was dripping off and everything. And I said, something's wrong with this. I can't put my finger on it or my tongue, no pun intended. But I ran into his book, and he talked about his experience as a new doctor on a plantation in Hawaii, where he observed the elderly Filipino and Japanese workers on the plantation were hale and hearty, well into their 90s and even over 100, cognitively clear, no chronic diseases to speak of. But their children and their grandchildren had adopted the standard American diet, spam, and you name it, and they had just the same rate of incidence of obesity, diabetes, heart disease, cancer, cognitive dementia as the average American. So he knew it wasn't genetic. He said, "This is lifestyle, folks," and he tried to bring that idea forward to a bunch of other medical doctors at a conference in Honolulu. And they basically said, "Nah, we don't think there's a correlation there." He said, "Well, the heck with you guys. I'm going to go establish a clinic in Santa Rosa, California, just north of San Francisco, and teach that lifestyle to other physicians, but also to the general public." And then
As he read that book, which
Yeah.
was in the 80s, right?
Yeah, I'd say the late 80s, and it was immediate. I mean, I just was going straight ahead, 60 miles an hour, and I just did an immediate left-hand turn and never looked back.
Yeah, so I met Don in 2010. I had been married before. My first husband passed away. He had type 1 diabetes and complications from that. We ate very much the standard American diet, probably more like the paleo diet, because that's what people recommended for diabetics at that time. And I worked in the healthcare field, not as a clinician, but the administrative side. So I thought I knew about health and all those things. So when I met Don, who I was attracted to, I was a little taken aback by this vegan thing. I just thought he was well-intended but misguided. That's what I thought. And
Definitely.
but clearly one of us had to change if this relationship was going forward. And I thought it would be good if he was the one who changed. So because that would be much easier in my life. So, and I just thought he was wrong. So I asked him, I said, is this like your religion, this vegan thing? What is it? And he says, no, it's science. And I said, oh, if I found science that contradicted it, you'd change? And he says, oh yeah. So I thought that would be an easy task, and I started reading, and I read the China study and some other things, and I said, oh, I guess he's right. And so I made that change at age 61, 61. Haven't looked back since. I haven't regretted it, but that's how I came along for this exciting ride we've been on ever since.
Awesome. Can you share the story behind founding Healthy World Sedona and then Healthy World Vitality and its mission?
Yeah. So the mission of Healthy World Sedona is to improve human, planetary, and animal health and welfare through a whole food, plant-based lifestyle. And when we moved to Sedona, we lived in Oregon. And when we moved to Sedona in 2014, 15, I guess early 2015, we wanted to do something to give back to the community. We didn't really know what it was. And we kind of took a year, got to know the community. And with a small group of people, it was when if you're familiar with Plant Pure Nation, they were starting pods in local communities. And we thought, well, we could do a pod. And so we got together with a small group and established what turned into Healthy World Sedona. And our main activity for the first 4 years was, go ahead.
Yeah, we're two conferences side by side, and it's based on the model that we were familiar with in Portland, Oregon, where they have a 2-day health and nutrition conference for medical professionals, followed immediately by a 2-day veg fest for the general public. And we would therefore use the same physicians like Dr. Esselstyn or Dr. Clapper and some of the others to speak at both conferences to different audiences, first the medical folks and then the general public, but essentially showing the science and motivating people basically to make lifestyle changes that were beneficial not only to themselves physically, but to the planet and of course to the animals.
Yeah, and the Veg Fest, the Health and Nutrition Conference was really health focused, but the Veg Fest
was broader. Yeah, that had the animal health and welfare and the environmental improvements. So it worked out really well, and we had 750 people at the Performing Arts Center, and just really packed them in, and great speakers. And then COVID came, and we had to make a change because people couldn't sit side by side in a huge Performing Arts Center or any other venue in a safe way at that time. And so we moved to Healthy World Vitality Plan, which is virtual via Zoom, just like we are here. And we established a sub website, if you will, which is hwvitality.com. And that's what we utilize along with the healthyworldsedona.com website now.
Yeah. And Healthy World Vitality is really a program of small learning groups. And it is focused primarily on human health. We've found that while we really embrace all the reasons for a plant-based lifestyle, what draws people many times is concern for their own health. So we decided to put our focus there. And even though the benefits, of course, extend to animals, to the environment, and these groups, it's what I think what it has become is an online learning community of people. And we do 2 11-week intensives every year, one in the spring, one in the fall, one just started, and where people learn about all the benefits of a plant-based lifestyle, as well as the benefits of exercise, restorative sleep, stress reduction, and community. The value of community.
The blue zone things, yeah. The 5.
Right.
And these small groups really, as they go through this intensive, become a community of support for each other. and peer coaches for each other. We have a trained coach. Our program's all volunteer, I should say. So we have a group of volunteer coaches that do this. And so we have a trained coach that works with the group, and they go through this learning experience. And then we do a number of other things. We have what we call lunch and learn programs every month, some master classes. And
so that is great, a group that you have there. And I just want to say that actually we have one of your people who promote the Healthy World Vitality Plan that comes to the Red and Green Veg Fest here in Albuquerque, which I put on every August, Maria Walsh. So
Yes.
if people here in Albuquerque in August want to check out more information and talk to a person, they could come to the Veg Fest August 9th and talk to Maria at the booth for Healthy World Vitality. But if they're not here, tell us the website that they can connect to, so that way they could find out more information and start immediately.
Yeah, and as we said just a little bit ago, the website is hwvitality.com, and that'll give them all the information and an opportunity to join. It's just $40 a year as to become a member, but with that you get constant input and access to not only the 11-week sessions, which we're on our 10th now.
9th.
We're on our 9th. Over the years that we've had, the 11-week sessions that teach all the 5 principles that we just mentioned, not only nutrition, but all of the Blue Zone items that are important for a truly healthy lifestyle. And that is, so nutrition, exercise, restorative sleep,
Stress
reduction, right, and community. And we're building community. So people have basically constant communication every year through community, which is so important to health. Tell them about the club or the clubs too.
Yeah, so one thing we started just this last January, because people go through the intensive, but they want to continue to be involved with these people and who support this lifestyle. So we've started 4 clubs. They're online clubs. One's a book club, one's a film club, one's a podcast club, and one's a recipe club.
Mm-hmm.
And they meet once a month for an hour, and they'll choose a book to read or a film to watch, podcast to watch, and then a chance to talk with each other about it. So that's been a fun addition. So all of the activities people can participate in for this $40 a year. They don't have to pay anything else.
Yeah, we just,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
No, you go ahead, finish your thought.
Well, we just had speaking of podcasts, I don't know if they're watching it, but we just did a podcast with Rip Esselstyn just a few weeks ago
Plant Strong.
on Plant Strong. So we're really excited to go both directions, and in this case with you, talking about the vegan pulse. All of our coaches are living the whole food plant-based lifestyle themselves, so they give really good up-to-date advice as they have their groups, and the groups are limited to basically about 12 people, so that there's an important interaction that happens on the Zoom calls each week, and they become part of it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. What are some of the biggest challenges that you have faced in promoting a plant-based lifestyle, and how have you overcome them?
Well, I think it's hard for people to go against culture. And I mean, I think that is the challenge. People have their families, their friends, and just their habits. And so I think that's really difficult. And also we have the standard American diet out there with fast food on every corner. And, people are immersed in this junk food that is being promoted and developed to addict them to all the salt, sugar, fat, and animal products that are out there. So I think that is really difficult. I think the other thing I would say, and you may have some others, is the confusion in the scientific community and the messaging that's out there, in the media about, well, what really is a healthy diet, since we work around health, because you can find supposed scientific evidence to promote about anything you look for out there, and the cultural blindness to what is happening to animals, and I think people's uh, unwillingness to really look at that because it's so painful, and
our environment.
yeah, and the environment. So, and the fact that people don't understand the connection between what we eat and what's happening in terms of the climate, that's not commonly known. So I think all of these cultural things are really difficult.
Yeah, and we have a monthly newsletter that we write, and I think it's basically 100 or 101st coming out
Yeah.
at the first of each month. So April 1, I'm just finishing a piece right now that'll show up on our website, hwvitality.com. You can go to the newsletter, but it's about this Earth Month, right? Because Earth Day is coming, and how do you? So we focus on all three aspects: the nutrition, of course, the environment, and animal health and welfare. And this month, April coming, will be about the environment, and we have speakers like the ones we relate to, that we rely on, are ones that have been here in person, like Dr. Michael Greger or Brenda Davis, registered dietitian, and so on. And they're all whole food, plant-based. And we tape, just like this interview is being recorded, we have professionally taped all of their speeches that they gave during the Veg Fest and the health and nutrition conferences, and also the monthly lunch and learns that we do. They're all out there on our website for members to access.
Okay. How has your shared commitment to this plant-based lifestyle strengthened your relationship?
I think it is very interesting being partners, not only as a married couple, but being partners with a life purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that sometimes it seems like it takes over our relationship. It's what we're working on all the time. But I think it has, as you said, strengthened our relationship by having this shared purpose and working side by side in this way.
Yeah, and we've successfully negotiated all kinds of things. When we first moved here, we built our solar home, and we came through that successfully with great ease. And we do quarterly potlucks here, where we regularly have like 50 people come and share our space, and wonderful meals. But the most important aspect of that, beyond the food, which is always whole food, plant-based, oil-free, I might add, we ask people to get to know each other and build community, because it's so important to feel that support. And even if your family or your extended community or your workplace folks do not support that and can't imagine it, well, you've got a new built-in community of people who care about you and care about life generally and the environment and so on. And it's been amazing. We regularly get comments, either email or verbally or whatever, that people say this experience has changed my life, and thanks for the new family, and the probability of extending your lifespan, as well as the quality of your life all along.
Yeah, and I might say, because I know we're running short on time, but I think that the fact that people experience this as a new community and a way to connect with other people is the strength of our program. And it is the thing that doesn't necessarily exist in other programs. There's tons, when we started this, there wasn't so much information out there. Now there's tons of information. In fact, an overwhelming amount of information. Sometimes we can't keep up with it all. But what allows people to actually sustain lifestyle change, and particularly against a lot of cultural forces that work in the other direction.
And economic forces.
Yeah, right. So I think that's sort of the niche that is part of our program and a part of our lives that we try to sustain is this community that supports people in doing what they want to do, what they know they should do, but what is sometimes hard to do. And I think when they have that community of support wrapped around them, it becomes much more likely and much more possible. So that's really where our focus is, and I think where the uniqueness of our program is.
Great. Any last words that you want to leave out for our viewers before we end this lovely conversation?
Just give it a try. hwvitality.com. Check us out. And it's, $40 a year. You have access to all kinds of resources and new friends. And if you can't afford $40 a year, let us know. We have people that give gift sponsorships, or you can do it monthly for $5. So we try to make it very available to everybody. So would just love to have you as part of our community.
Right. Read our next newsletter and all the past newsletters. And just know that in terms of the broader scope, go to healthyworldsedona.com and just have a look also at the other factors, which is the environment and animal health and welfare that we support automatically. Just by going whole food plant-based, you automatically improve the environmental aspects and the health and welfare of our fellow living members on the planet, animals.
And you Albuquerque folks, go see Maria at Red and Green Festival.
Right.
And she's wonderful and are such a great member of our coaching community. So she'll tell you all about it.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, both of you, for being on the Vegan Pulse. And until next time, bye-bye.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you, Nancy. Bye.